got a chance to see Predator, Killer of Killers on Hulu. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zank. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, I am not an actor. I'll just tell you that straight out. I'm not an actor. However, I guess somebody's doing a fan film. I put it in for doing the Kingpin. I'm 5'8". I don't have the size. I'm not cutting my hair off for free. So I told the guy up front that I was only 5'8". But anyway, he had me audition anyway, so let's see what happens. I just want to get up on set and meet people, so if I get it, great. If I don't, I don't care. We'll see what happens. I'll let you know if I get a call back on a fan film. All right, let's talk about Killer of Killers. I know a lot of people said good things about this. I didn't realize that my Hulu subscription had been kept up this whole time. Would have been nice if I checked my credit card statements, I guess. I did a review on Alien Earth as well, which was the first thing I watched when I realized. But then I saw this was up, and I'm like, oh, shoot, I forgot this was on there. And it has similar animation to Arcane, I think. I thought the animation was decent. It was a little bit stylized, just like Arcane. But there's a lot of standout here. There's a lot of standout. And this gives me hope for Badlands, for Predator Badlands. I'm a big Predator fan, especially when Carl Weathers' arm comes off and he's like, yeah, and the gun is still firing. It does leave an impression when you're younger. I was still probably a teenager, but I was probably a young teenager, like 13. And but anyway, so this was directed and written by Dan Trachtenberg. Was the one who did Prey, and he's doing Badlands. And he did this, as far as directing is concerned, which means he gets it. He gets the IP, which is really, all I really want is somebody that has some kind of passion for the material. And the fact that he's got, oh my God, they're doing a remake of Waterworld. He's directing Waterworld. I don't know, that's a good idea. But I really think that somebody who has passion for these kind of IPs is the ones that you want in the director's chair. He also directed Cloverfield Lane, which was okay. It had a really good cast, though. And it wasn't bad. It was just almost too contained for what it was. And Joshua was saying, I hope I said his name right. I guess this guy's like a special effects director. So he did a lot of effects work for other films. So I guess what they're doing, which is very, very smart as far as I'm concerned. Like if I went into directing and I had a big budget thing, right? I would want the special effects director sitting next to me and saying, no, don't shoot it this way. It's going to look a hell of a lot better if we do this. Or even on the planning stages, where they're like, we can do this with the green screen stage, we can do this with a volume wall. A special effects director is going to know all that and how to make it look as good as possible. So this guy did Ready Player One, he did Prey, he did War Horse, which I thought War Horse was going to be better than what it was. I didn't really like it. And then he also did Last Airbender, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Madam Web. That's all visual effects, though. So, not that the visual effects for Madam Web were bad, but some of it was okay. Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. So he's got a lot under his belt as far as Lovecraft Country. As far as effects are concerned, he has a lot of stuff under his belt. But anyway, hopefully those two would work hand in hand to make sure that the shots that are effects heavy look the best they can. And because, when you're doing a lot of camera work with effects, you got to be careful that you can do the rotoscoping and all that stuff where it doesn't look like crap. And if you're using a volume wall, then of course your camera is connected to the image itself through the Unreal Engine. You also have a writer here. Get this. So Miko Robert Rutare, I think that's how you say it, is the writer on top of Dan Trachtenberg. And this guy is the executive producer on all of the Sharknado films for Asylum. And I have worked for Asylum, not on Sharknado, but on other films. And I can tell you that the pressure they put on their directors is crazy. So I had two roles. I was the UPM and a second AD on a film called Tales of a Fifth Grade Robin Hood. Oh my God. It was fun though, but boy, they had scheduled like 13 pages a day, which is impossible. It is impossible. Just FYI. We'll talk about my class coming up here, but the only name that I recognize as far as actors are concerned is Michael Bain. But I had no idea what I was walking into when I turned this on. All I knew was that it was an animated anthology of Predator. And I really wasn't that interested in it, to tell you the truth. But after like the first 10 minutes, I was like, wow, this is really good. This is really good. And I had no idea how they were going to connect the anthology or if it even was connected. And I loved how thoughtful they were on connecting everything. So the first storyline, they actually have the title cards for the chapters. And I'm going to go into little spoilers here at the end, but I'll let you guys know when that happens. So the Viking one was called The Shield, right? And it has to do with the weapons that they're going to have, toward at the end. Pretty much. The weapons that they're proficient with, right? Well, not, I wouldn't say completely proficient with, especially not towards the end. But the first one's called The Shield, and that's the Viking one. And it's about a woman who's older. She has her son. Her son is, her teenage. Her son is, obviously she had children younger. I mean, too older, because she has full white hair and stuff like that. Meanwhile, he's like a teenager. But I guess he's supposed to take over for her. But she cannot let go of her father's death. So you had this other warlord that was, fighting with her father over who was going to be running their thing or whatever, who was going to be chieftain. I can't really know what the two factions really were, but he basically forces her at a young age to kill her own father. And she really doesn't. She just has her hand on a knife and he guides it into himself. But she can't let this go. She stays with this vengeance her whole life. And even towards the end, she says, "Don't avenge me," which was pretty cool because she got over her vengeance. So she has this arc, and she realizes that vengeance really wasn't the way. It was just too costly. So it's very, very interesting that we even have arcs within the small little anecdotes that are in here. Anyway, before we keep going, remember too to give me a like, give me a subscribe if you can. If you can, ring that bell, ding ding. Subscription really helps. Share this video out there as well so people watch this. I think that it definitely deserves a watch. Also remember too that I'm a writer myself. If you'd like to check out anything that I've written, you can go to Amazon.com and just type my name in. Or there's a link in the description below as well. You'll see my 4-novel quadrilogy, Destiny Aurora. It is an epic sci-fi adventure. So if you like Star Wars, Star Trek, Guardians of the Galaxy, you're going to love this. And it was made into a board game, an RPG, a graphic novel. It's also on Audible. We have multiple voices there. So if you like to listen to your books in a kind of a cinematic way. You're going to love that as well. I also have a fantasy book called Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. So if you like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, it has magic system. We have dragons, we have dragon riders, we have griffin riders, we have all this stuff. It's really cool. But anyway, you'll love that. Plus my new comic, Fairy Tales of Terror, that was completely funded on Kickstarter. I'm actually working on the next issue. As soon as I finish this, I'm going to actually go to write. And I've had some really good feedback on it so far. We have Psycho Cinderella. We have Killer Captain Hook being tracked around New York City by Tiger Lily from Neverland. And it's about to come to a head in the second issue, too, in a little bit there. Anyway, lots of fun. If you'd like a copy of that, I am running late pledge. You can go to fairytalesofterror.com and check that out. I am going to be retiring certain covers, so you might want to jump in on that. Also, if you're interested in learning filmmaking, I've been in the business for 20 years, had a structure, and then on the producing side, so if you want to do a feature or you want to do a short or whatever, I teach budgeting and scheduling, crewing, and how to raise some money, stuff like that as well. So everything you want to learn, I'm going to be teaching in a 2-day masterclass seminar through Zoom. Anyway, the link in the description below for Eventbrite, and it's not expensive. Everybody's like, you're doing it for that? And I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to get more people rather than less and charge more. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm just getting a bigger class, basically. Anyway, it's on the 1st and 2nd of November. All right, so let's jump back into Killer of Killers. So we start out with the Viking one, which is called Shield, and then we move into like a samurai ninja Japanese one, which I was wondering how they were all from different time periods. How is that going to work? I never really thought about cryogenics for predators, but I guess they have cryogenics in their ship. This one is called the Sword, and again, it's based on the weapons that they use in the end. Okay? They're picking up people that have killed one of theirs. So that's how that's working, is that each one of them has killed one of theirs. I don't know how they know that. That's never explained. Because obviously if the predator was killed, how does their homeworld know that they killed somebody and they tracked them down, later? I wish they explained that, but they didn't. But anyway, this one's here is about the two brothers, and one brother doesn't want to hurt the other brother. So when the father pits them against one another, one drops their sword and the other one doesn't. And one flees and does not come back, so he wants vengeance on his own brother. And, we have a lot of good interaction between them and a lot of good action, ninja action and sword play and stuff like that. Again, really, really enjoyable. And I love the setting. I actually think that one is better than the first one. And then we jump into the second one. But in between each one of these, we see that they're on a ship together. So we know that they're going to the Predator homeworld in between each one. And then by the end, the last one is called the Bullet. The guy does have a gun at the end, but he's not good. First of all, it's an ancient gun. Second of all, the guy is not a warrior. He's a pilot. But it was very clever how they put that into that short, because it is the name of the plane is called the Bullet. The one he's trying to put. And you think that he's going to be like, his dad is trying to tell him that he needs to be a mechanic. And he ends up being a mechanic in the Air Force or whatever. And a lot of the plane stuff is really, really, the animation on the plane stuff I thought was great. And I think this is the one that Michael Biehn is in playing Vandy. I thought he was going to be like a master mechanic with the way they transitioned it, and he is just not. He never got that that greasy finger feel kind of thing where he was able to do anything with engines, and he always fails trying to put shit back together. But anyway, so he ends up being the pilot, and you have to stretch imagination where he's able to pilot the Predator crafts without any kind of training. He doesn't, you can't even understand the language, So you got to suspend disbelief that, okay, he's piloting this shit. Okay. But otherwise, I thought it was very engaging. Like I'm looking at IMDb right now, and they only gave it a 7.5 out of 10. In my opinion, this is more like an 8. I was really, but I guess you have to like the Predator universe. I guess that may be why it's a little lower. A Metascore has it at 78, which is closer to that 8 that I'm giving it. But I really liked it. I definitely recommend it. I love how everything was put together. I love the arcs that each one of the characters had. And it actually does set up an ending. And here's where, if you don't want to know the little teeny spoiler at the end, I'm going to give that right now. So at the end on the ship, they have, in cryogenics, they have the chick from Prey. They have Danny Glover. And I'm like, once Danny Glover was in there, I'm like, all right, I know what the next one is. And the last one is Schwarzenegger. So they actually have everybody from the movies in their own cryogenics. So whatever this sets up for, I want to see it. I want to see those three together. That would be amazing. But anyway, I don't know if they're going to make another one, or if that is like a lot of the Marvel stuff where it teases shit that never happens. But yeah, really, really like all of it, and I hope that Badlands is as good as this. That's what I have to say. The other thing is that, of course, Badlands is based on a predator instead of being based on humans. Not sure that's going to work as well, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope this is like the best Predator, movie ever. I also noticed that Adrian Brody was not in any other cases. I guess I'm not counting that one. Anyway, that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Remember to give me that like, give me that thumbs up if you can. If you can't subscribe, please do. Ring that bell, ding, ding. Check out my stuff on Amazon, and definitely jump into Fairy Tales of Terror. Remember, I'm going to be closing up some of those covers. I do sign all of the printed ones. Of course, I can't sign digital. That would be very strange. And just go to fairytalesterror.com. There's also a link in the description below. And if you'd like to join my class, love to have you. Again, it's not expensive. The link for the Eventbrite is in the description below as well. And again, it's not very expensive. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you on the next one. Have an awesome week.